back to the Master Debaters. And today is a special episode. It's actually our Father's Day episode.
Yeah, this ought to be good, you know? Top 10 TV dads.
Top 10 TV dads.
Hopefully you got no women on there. Hopefully.
Nothing...
Yeah, there is something wrong with a woman on a man's list. Yes, there is. Just like there's something wrong with a man on a woman's list.
Well, you got such a problem with Danny Tanner being on my mother's list.
It was a bad pick.
What the hell? Bruce Jenner won Woman of the Year a couple years back.
He wasn't on the mom list.
But he won Woman of the Year.
Doesn't matter. He wasn't on the mom list.
I'm just going to get right into my list because I'm tired of it.
Go ahead.
Top 10 TV dads. Number 10 for me.
Is a man?
Yes.
Okay, good.
Very big burly man.
Okay. Big burly.
Dan Connor from Roseanne.
Good show. Great dad.
John Goodman.
Yeah.
I'd like to have him as my dad. He's
a cool guy, man.
Cool guy.
Yeah. Number 10 on my list was on your mom's list. Danny Tanner. Full House. Good show. He wasn't the greatest dad. He's barely made the top 10.
What do you mean he wasn't the greatest dad?
Nah,
He was a good dad.
He barely made the top 10. He was on. I was trying to find ways to knock him off there, but I really couldn't. Anyway, number 9 on my list is from a show that I don't know if you watch it. It's fairly a new show. Murray Goldberg from the Goldbergs. Yeah,
It's an okay show.
It's okay. I like it.
You like it because it's an 80s show.
I'm an 80s kid.
You really got a big thing with that decade.
I like the 80s. It was the greatest decade ever. And I'm glad they made a show to represent it. Yeah.
Number 9 for me is a dad that I know you don't know because you've never seen the show that he's on, and it's Frank Costanza from Seinfeld.
You don't ever
George
shut up about this
Costanza's
show.
dad.
You don't ever shut up about this show. Ever. So you talking about Seinfeld. Every episode of this, I mean, we did a show on snack food. You brought up Seinfeld. I mean, what is with you in this show?
It's a good show. Frank Costanza is a great dad. He invented the man's ear or the bro.
I wish he would have invented the
He
TV
invented
cancellation.
Festivus for the rest of us, in case we don't celebrate Christmas or Hanukkah or Kwanzaa. Festivus. Frank Costanza. If there's one reason you should watch Seinfeld, it's for Frank Costanza.
I really have no desire to watch the show. For those of you out there watching that saw our sitcom episode, I still have not seen that show. I still haven't.
Number 8 for me, from Married with Children, Al Bundy.
I like Al Bundy.
He was an okay dad. The reason I would have loved to put him higher on the list, but I couldn't put him too high because, as the same reason I stated in our mom's episode about Peggy, he really didn't care so much for the kids.
He did care.
He cared. He cared for them more than his wife did. But
he cared a lot for them. But what can you do on a shoe salesman's paycheck?
He was still
can't do a whole lot.
But he had much bigger things for. I mean, the guy scored 4 touchdowns. For
He
Polk
did
High.
score 4 touchdowns for Polk High. Yeah.
He could have been higher. I wish I could have put him higher, but I didn't.
Yeah. I'm wondering. This is what I'm wondering. Now, I don't watch the show. For you guys that watched the mom episode, no, I don't watch the show. How come you didn't put him on your list? Or maybe he is on your list for this, I don't know. For that other show he does that you brought up in the mom. It was a Modern Family, I think. You didn't...
He might be on the list.
Oh, he might be on the list. Okay. He's a dad in that show too, I guess?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Number 8 on my list is Cliff Huxtable. Bill Cosby from The Cosby Show.
You have no regrets about that choice?
No, I don't like... Just because the guy's an asshole in real life, he still played an iconic dad character.
I thought about it.
But he is an asshole.
I wish to not show that man any respect.
He doesn't deserve any respect, but
You just gave him some respect for putting him on your list.
Because his character. I didn't really give...
This guy condones what Bill Cosby does.
No.
So you know.
No, I don't.
He condones what Bill Cosby does. He's probably helped Bill Cosby do
But
some
how
of the
many
shit he's
people
done.
out there enjoyed The Cosby Show.
Boycott it.
It's kind of like, a lot of people don't agree with with what Michael Jackson did in his private life. But the guy still made great music. Same thing. Okay, number 7 on my list. Howard Cunningham from the Happy Days. I liked Howard Cunningham.
Okay.
He was pretty good.
It was okay.
Yeah, I liked him. That was a good show.
Yeah, it made my top 10.
Shit, it wasn't that good.
Number 7 for me.
Yeah.
Really great dad. Carl Winslow from Family Matters.
I didn't know who it was till you said the name of the show. When you said Family Matters, I knew, but I didn't recognize the guy's name. But okay.
He was a good dad. He was a cop.
Good dad.
Protected his
He's a cop.
kids. Taught them lessons. He even
Yeah.
went as far to help out the neighbor from time to time.
Yes, he did.
Steve Urkel. Even
Yeah.
though he disliked him,
Yeah.
he still helped him through some shit because Urkel's
Yeah.
parents weren't there for him.
Yes,
Carl
that's true.
Winslow deserves a
Yeah.
spot on the top
Okay.
10. More than Cliff Huxtable. Number 6 for me
Not more than Cliff Huxtable.
is a dad from Full House. Jesse Katsopoulos.
He was a dad? I thought he was an uncle.
He was
Uncle
he was
Jesse.
an uncle, and then he got married and had kids.
I must have
He's
stopped
great
watching.
dad. He was
I must have stopped watching the show by that point.
He was a musician. He wrote a song for his kids. He had the twins, Nikki and Alex. Come on, man, get with the shit. Get
I
with
must have
it.
stopped. That must have
That's
been when
your
the show.
problem.
That must have been when the show jumped the shark.
No, it didn't jump the shark.
On to my number 6 was already on your list. Dan Connor from Roseanne. I like John Goodman. He's a good actor. He played a really good role in that show. He was believable.
He was a very believable
He was a
dad.
very believable dad. Number 5 on my list. I don't know if you'll know this guy, but he is from a TV show from the 80s and show with Michael J. Fox. Family Ties. That would be Stephen Keaton, the dad. I thought that just like Dan Connor, he was a believable dad and was also funny. He had his funny moments where you could just laugh your ass off at him, but he was also a very serious and good dad.
Didn't make my list.
I don't think he would.
Number 5 on my list is by far the most American dad on my list.
Okay.
Tim the Toolman Taylor. Great dad.
Didn't make my list.
Built shit for his kids. He provided for his kids and his family. Tim Taylor,
He was a good dad.
great dad.
Didn't make my list.
Funny.
He was funny
When
too.
he needed wisdom,
Yeah.
he would go to Wilson next door for some fatherly advice to
Yeah, the guy that you always
pass
saw
on to
half his
kids.
face.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tim
Okay.
Taylor, great dad. Number 4 for me is another great dad. This guy went out of his way to bring in another family member into his family. Uncle Phil Banks
Oh,
from
okay.
Fresh Prince of Bel-Air.
Yeah.
Stern, he
Rest in peace, right?
yes,
Passed away.
rest in peace.
Okay.
He could be a dick at times, but he was a stern dad. He was a good dad.
I guess he didn't make my list, but
Had money.
yeah, well, yeah,
I'll give that.
he did have money. Number 4 on my list, Randy Marsh from South Park. I think he's a good dad, and he's funny. I like Randy Marsh. He's good. Number 3 on my list, Mike Brady from the Brady Bunch. Good dad. I don't want to say he's very funny. The other characters on the show were the comedy of the show. He was more of the serious guy, but he was still a good dad. He was a good dad. He took in 3 kids that weren't his own.
I had him on my list, but I
Yeah.
had to bump him.
Yeah.
He just didn't do it for me.
No?
I had
Okay.
to, you only got 10 spots. You got to bump somebody.
Okay.
Number 3 on my list, actually, Randy Marsh.
Good
from,
pick.
From South Park.
Very good pick. I like Randy Marsh.
He started out in the show. He started out slower. They made him more of a character, and
Yes, they
he
did.
was a great dad.
Sure
He
was.
was awesome. Not to mention,
He sure was.
Not to mention that his look reminds me of my own dad.
Yeah.
Especially when my dad was younger.
Right?
But he reminds me of my dad, and Randy Marsh is fucking awesome.
I like Randy Marsh. He's pretty funny.
He's a good dad. He's a good dad. For those who don't know, Randy Marsh is Stan's dad.
Yes.
In South Park, if you watch it.
Give it a watch. It's a good show.
Number 2 for me was already on your list. He was on my mother's list. It's Danny Tanner from
Danny
Full
Tanner.
House. I mean, you can't.
The only guy that can make the top 5 in 2 lists, a mom and a dad.
Yeah,
What a joke.
He was a single parent.
What a
I mean, you
fucking
can't.
joke.
You can't deny it. He was.
You can deny he's a mom. You can deny that.
He was a great parent. He was a great parent, mom and dad.
So then let's put him on the parent list when we do that one.
Oh, we'll have to do
Not
that.
a mom.
It's a good idea.
Number 2 on my list, already on your list, Al Bundy. 4 touchdowns, 1 game, Polk High. The guy sold shoes to provide for his family. That's a great dad right there. It wasn't a glamorous job, but he did what he could to provide for his family. Good dad. We're proud of you, Al Bundy. We're proud of you. Number 1 on my list, the greatest dad in the history of TV shows. Homer Simpson. Oh! He is the best dad ever. What a great dad.
That's another one that he was.
Yeah.
I mean, he was close to my list.
Yeah.
He's not on it.
He's great.
Close to my list, but that was another one who
Yeah.
kind of fell into the Al Bundy. Like, yeah, he provided for the kids and
Yes,
the
he
family,
does.
but he was a dope.
He wasn't a
And
dope.
he could be an ass. A lot of times,
He's not an asshole.
A lot of times, he only cared about himself.
No, he did not. He cared about the kids.
He only cared about himself.
He was a loving
he
father.
fucking abused the shit out of Bart. He would choke him. He'd beat his ass.
But just the last show you were telling people, beat your kids.
Well, yeah.
Just
because
last
they're
the show you were.
Because they're getting out of control, but you don't have to be that violent. A little
I mean,
smack
my
on the
God.
ass. Come on, a little
Hey,
smack on the
man.
ass, maybe a little belt action. You don't gotta choke the shit out of your kid till he's near
Good
death.
God. Number 1, Homer Simpson.
Number 1 on my list
It's gonna
is
suck.
a guy who
Go suck.
does not try to choke his kids to death. He doesn't try and kill his kids. He actually does everything that he possibly can to keep his kids alive. And my number 1 is Rick Grimes from The Walking Dead. Listen, if you are stuck in a zombie apocalypse, there is no better dad to have than Rick Grimes. I wouldn't want Homer Simpson as my dad if I'm in a zombie apocalypse. Homer Simpson, he'll fucking run away. He'll eat all the food. He won't fucking ration it out. He'll eat all the food. Rick Grimes knows how to survive. He saves his kids' lives time and time
In the
again.
history of TV, since TV was invented, he's the greatest father ever. On the history of
Yeah.
television.
Yeah.
Holy shit, dude.
You've never seen the show.
Yes, I haven't because it's not good.
How do you know it's not good if you've
Because it's
never
another
seen it?
Seinfeld, probably.
Listen, like I said,
Come on,
this
man.
guy only
Come on.
he cares more about his kids than he does himself. Any of those dads on my list or your list, short of maybe Dan Connor, even though he's
Yeah.
number 10, if I was in a zombie apocalypse as an 8, 9, 10-year-old kid,
Right? Yeah.
he is the one dad
about Howard
I wanna
Cunningham?
have. Howard Cunningham isn't going to do anything.
He could.
What's he going to do?
Dude, he's a great
He's
dad.
not going to help me survive in a zombie
could.
apocalypse. Homer Simpson's going to eat all the food before I can get to it. Randy
about
Marsh
Randy
is going
Marsh?
to be drunk the whole time.
Randy Marsh,
Danny Tanner, he's too sensitive.
Murray Goldberg.
No, it's just...
I can't believe that you judge your number 1 dad on an apocalypse. Why don't you just name...
Well, the guy's in a fucking
Why
apocalypse.
don't you just judge it if he's a good dad? You have to put
He is a hell of a dad.
He's not a hell of a dad.
He
He's an
keeps his
idiot.
kids alive year after year.
Everybody on my list kept their kids alive.
But they wouldn't
They
if
don't
they
have
were in a
dead
zombie
kids. They don't
apocalypse.
have dead kids.
He wouldn't have to worry about it if he was living a regular life. He'd be a great dad.
I doubt it. Maybe
if
he's...
any of these other dads on these lists
I maybe
were
not-
thrown into his world, they wouldn't survive.
Maybe he would suck in a real world, Dad. Maybe he's only good.
he was a
because he's in an
fucking cop.
apocalypse.
He was a sheriff in the real world.
There you go. He probably sucks.
He was a great
probably sucks.
dad. Rick Grimes is a great dad.
Never saw the show.
Number one.
Don't care to see the
best
show.
dad of
But I can
all
tell you, he's
time.
no way the number one dad.
Yeah, okay.
Nope.
Yeah, because I'm gonna fucking I want fucking Cliff Huxtable to
Cliff
protect
Huxtable.
me. I want Cliff
Cliff
Huxtable
Huxtable
to protect me during a fucking fucking zombie.
Do you know what
apocalypse.
Cliff Huxtable did for a living? He was a doctor. That would come in handy in an apocalypse.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, not if he's fucking running around drugging all the fucking.
That's
all the
Bill
women.
Cosby, not Cliff Huxtable.
I don't care. They're both the same
Idiot.
to me.
Thanks
Thanks.
for. Yep. But you go. You go. You go. Jinx, you owe me a Coke.
Fuck you.
Jinx, you owe me a Coke.
Thanks for tuning in to the Master Debaters once again. Have a happy Father's Day. We'll see you next time. Don't forget to subscribe, comment, like,
Have a good one. Thanks for watching,
share
guys.
our videos, and tell us what you think.
All right. See you next time.